Flosstube, welcome back. It is St. Patrick's Day. I have my green on. It's St. Patrick's Day, which means it is in fact Tuesday, which means I'm filming a day late. What are you gonna do? Yesterday, had a couple of doctor's appointments that I was still going to. Doctors still wanted to see us. And so I had a couple doctor's appointments, and then I needed to stop by the dance studio to pick up some stuff. I do some work for them from home, but there were a few things I needed to pick up at the studio. So I didn't get home until pretty late last night and was tired. Honestly, I hadn't pulled stuff together and it was late, and I just needed to fix dinner and chill. So, but now you get to see me in all my green glory on St. Patrick's Day. Yay. So I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, both here on YouTube and Instagram. This is a cross stitch channel. So that's what we talk about here is cross stitch. It's a YouTube channel devoted entirely to cross stitch. So if you're new here, welcome. Typically I film on Mondays and we have cross stitch happy hour, but it's Tuesday cross stitch happy hour today. And since it's St. Patrick's Day, I decided a little Bailey's Irish Cream was called for. And I'm trying out this vanilla cinnamon. It was in like a variety pack that we got at Costco around Christmas time. That is delicious. So it's St. Patrick's Day, cocktail happy hour, and we're gonna talk all things cross stitch today. I'm gonna do life updates at the end. I know that the current situation that's going on in the world is causing a lot of anxiety for people who already have troubles and struggle with anxiety and depression. And so that might be something that's a little triggering. So what I'm gonna do is we're not gonna talk about that. We're just gonna focus on cross stitch. At the end, after the giveaway, I'll do a short little life update for those of you who care about, you know, the day-to-day goings on in the McDaniel household. But if talk about world events and what's happening locally might be upsetting for you, then you can just peace out after the giveaway. How about that? I thought that that might be the best way, because it's hard to do a life update right now without talking about current events, but I know that that might be upsetting to some. So we'll just jump right into all the stitchy goodness. I read through all the comments from last week for the giveaway that we'll do at the end. I had asked for you to tell me about club kits, because I got the very last of my French Kitchen Collection club kit, and I loved being a part of that. So I was like, tell me where I can get all the club kits. I'm a sucker for everything all packaged together. Send me all the stuff to do it. Love it. So y'all delivered. Y'all delivered. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what I learned. I compiled the list of all the club kits, and I will link websites below. That's the other thing. I also had some questions about like what fabric I was stitching things on and such. Please feel free to always ask me any question, but just also know that I put as many links and information as I can stuff into the description box below each video, because I'm not always the best at saying what threads or what fabric count, and I just talk about a lot of like random stuff. So I will always put links and all the information on all my WIPs. I'll link any floss tubers I talk about or I happen to mention. That will all be in the description box below. So you can always check there. And so any of these, I haven't looked them up yet, but I will before I publish the video. I will find links to all of these club kits, or all these places that you can purchase club type stuff below. So my French Kitchen collection that you'll see later is from Inspired Needle. So that's where I got that one. And someone else mentioned that they had others. Duh, I didn't even think to go look at what other kits Inspired Needle had. I've had a great experience with the Inspired Needle, so I can easily recommend inspired needle. Someone else mentioned the silver needle, which I think is that in Oklahoma? I should know that because they very kindly gave us a coupon code last year for the Playing with Jack sale. I feel like maybe it's in Oklahoma. Regardless, I will link their website below to the silver needle. Someone mentioned that they had some good club kits, that maybe they were getting all of the fragments in time perhaps from them, with all the stuff to do the fragments in time this year from Summer House Stitchworks. I have all of that series from I think 2018 that I haven't started yet, but I love all the, you can do them as little smalls, or Summer House Stitchworks gives you a border, like a free border to put all 12 charts together. So I'll link all that below. Someone mentioned Cotton and Twine does a kit with a pattern and all the stuff to do it, and that's in the UK. They might ship internationally, I haven't checked it out, but for all you UK people, that, you know, that would be a great option if you don't want to pay a bunch of international shipping, or some of these places may not do international shipping. Cotton and Twine. Sounded like it was a good one. Dying to Stitch. And that is the club that I know Amy from Amy Loves Toads Stitching Softly. That's the one that I think she was in. And it looks like they have two clubs. They have a berries club that's Erica Michael Berries, and then also one that is Pineberry Lane. And it has a theme. It seems like they do a holiday theme each year, and this year it's like autumn, Halloween, Thanksgiving. I don't know if they're still open. Like, that's the thing. It's March, and these clubs might all be like full, or they won't take new people after the first of the year, but it's definitely something that I'm keeping on my radar for next year if they're not taking new people. That Quarter Shop. Duh, I should have known. They have lots of different stitch alongs. That I know for sure. I've seen, who's doing them? I know Stitching in the Barn? Stitching in the Barn, I think, is doing their Bloomtopia Sal, as well as other people that I'm blanking on now. I know they have quite a bit of stitch along. I know Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, is doing one that's little houses. They're like little prim houses that look adorable. But someone also mentioned that they are doing like a quarterly stitch box that comes with a pattern and floss and whatnot. So Fat Quarter Shop might be a place to check out. And then, oh, someone else said, I'm on auto ship with my local needlework store with my LNS, that they're on auto ship for some of these things that are seasonal, that come out, that are series. Duh. I know for sure that Janine at Acorns and Threads, or whatever your LNS is, whatever series it is, Hands-On Design has all those Santas coming out. I mean, I know for sure if I called Janine and said, every time new ones come out, can you send me the called for floss and fabric and pattern? She'd say, sure, no problem. So auto ship with your LNS, especially if it's something that's a series. That you know that you want to do the whole series. So there are some ideas. Those were some great ideas for me. I thank you to everybody who gave suggestions. This is what I love about this stitchy community, is you ask a question and there are so many knowledgeable stitchers, especially because it's been not quite a year. We're getting close. I started Harry Potter book covers on April 3rd. And I would say that was my descent into cross stitch. Like, I had finished the girls' stockings the fall before, and I had picked up a few Etsy patterns and done a few patterns here and there. But March, a year ago, I found School of Magical Stitches and descended into the madness. Be happy. We're all mad here, right? We're all mad here. We should all go get that bendy stitchy pattern and stitch it. We're all mad here. But so it's just been a year, so I feel like I'm learning. We're all learning together about all the different things. So There were a couple other questions, but I think I'll address them as I show you my works in progress. So why don't we talk about what I worked on this week. I'm going to open up my planner. This is my cross stitch planner. I know you guys have seen it before, but in case you're new, it's the base of it is Jen Lee's 24 hours of cross stitch planner. And I'll link that below, as well as her group on Facebook. But it's great because I keep track every week of here's my enchanted stitching assignments, anything that's going on in Semi-Sane, and then I can write every day what I worked on. Because I can barely remember yesterday, guys, much less tell you what I worked on last Tuesday. So the first thing I'll show you guys is, of course, full coverage, my full coverage project that I was working on for the week. And this one I actually use. Typically I don't end up using these for challenges, but I did use this for enchanted stitching. So last week was Harry Potter book cover week. This is by Fox and Teacup Design. I am doing the supersize max color version, which is, when it says supersize max color, it's not like a Haid max color. It's not 200 and some odd colors. I think it's like 90 or something like that. It's like a normal, this is, even though it says supersize max color, this is like a normal Haid. So Harry Potter book covers. And I used this for, there was something we had to stitch on black or red stitches. And since I am working up here, it was really easy to do 250 stitches in red. So I actually used this for a challenge, and here's where I am now. Almost done. There's like one little sliver of silver here for this R, and then this is like the very next, you can see it's the very next R in the next book that's kind of half silver, half green. So, that light is really bright today. I don't know if it's because there's some light coming in. It's kind of blowing things out. I might be holding things back here a little bit. Ah! I almost lost my floss box on the floor, which it's closed, but if it had popped open, we're just gonna set that down before I drop it. Okay, so there we go. I don't know, I should have looked at exactly how many stitches. There were a couple nights I didn't even work on this, guys. I don't know why. I had one night that I was just really tired and I didn't. I worked on this 5 nights. So 3, 6, 9. I mean, I think I still got about 1,200 stitches in it. Because the nights I did work on it, I put quite a bit into it, but there we go. And actually, I'm down. I'm gonna keep, so when I worked on the first book cover, and I was working on like just a PDF, using like a PDF reader of the pages, I was kind of going page by page. So I would finish a page and then I'd move down to the next page. Now that I'm on Pattern Keeper, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep working in this like kind of diagonal block direction all the way down to the bottom, because here is the bottom of that page, like in the middle of this block. So this is, so I've hit the bottom of the first page here, which is a shorter page to begin with, but then I would just need to fill in this and I'll be done with that page, but I'll already be significantly down in the next one. So I don't know that there's going to be page finishes per se. Since the beginning of the year, I've been keeping a running tally of my stitches so that for Stitch from Stash, I could get a page finish credit every 8,000 stitches. And I'm pretty close. I haven't tallied for the whole week. I might have actually had a page finish on this since the beginning of the year, because I started the beginning of the year at the bottom of this book. So Harry Potter book covers. And then this week, last night I started working on Farewell to Anger, so you guys will see that next week. Oh, I had some questions about the gridded fabric. Hold for a sip of cocktail. So I had someone ask about how did I get the grid on the fabric? I bought it that way. This is pre-gridded. This is 18 count Aida. Farewell to Anger is a 25 count Lugana, but they're both, I think it's called Easy Grid or Easy Count. One of the two. But it's pre-gridded that gray is in the fabric, so I didn't do that. Now, supposedly it washes out. I say supposedly only because I haven't done it. I know other people have very successfully washed out the grid, but the way this Easy Count fabric works is that when you're done with the stitching, you soak it in hot water. My understanding is it has to be like over 200 degrees, like it has to be hot, hot water. So one, your stitching has to be able to be washed. So you can't do a whole bunch of overdyes on this that are not color fast. This is all DMC. My Aida is all DMC, which is all color fast, so that's all fine. And then supposedly the grid just disappears. I know Ginger Gerald, I know he washed his Henry VIII. I think he did his on pre-gridded fabric. I could be wrong. I remember him washing it. So one, if you're gonna mat or frame this right up to the stitching, it wouldn't matter anyway, but if you're not gonna frame it right up to the stitching, then it will wash out. Now that said, I've never actually done it, so I don't know for sure it works. I also, the very first time I took this out of the Q-snap, I think to move down a page and show it, I ironed it. And someone commented on that video and said, you can't iron it or it sets the lines and they don't wash out. I have no idea if that's true. So if anybody knows if that is in fact the case, that if you iron it, since you have to soak it in hot water to get them to come out, it seems counterintuitive to me that heat would set it. But what do I know? I don't know anything about fabric. So if that's the case, like too late, I've already ironed it. So I guess I'll just keep ironing this piece. But if you know, that would be good to know before I iron Farewell to Anger. When I take that out of the Q-snaps the first time. But so there you go. I ordered mine. I got mine on 123 Stitch. They sell very large sizes. I know Heaven and Earth Design also sells different counts and large cuts of the gridded, pre-gridded fabric. You also can grid your own. There are lots of YouTube videos on how to grid your own fabric. Some people will do it with like fabric pen that disappears or is washable. Some people will do it with metallic thread. Some people do it with a fine fishing line, like they actually like go every 10 stitches in and out. Just like that. That helped, right? To know. But so there are ways that you can grid your fabric if like you don't want to use just white or you don't want to have to worry about washing something out. There are lots of methods for gridding your fabric yourself. Like especially if you want, you know, if you have a big piece, but it's not full coverage and you want to use like a pretty overdyed fabric, there are ways to grid your fabric. Or if you're in the Stitchy, they call it grodding, to grod your fabric. But, pardon me, there's lots of YouTube videos. So you could just do a search on gridding fabric. Sorry, I got a couple of little ice chips in my mouth. I don't want to chew them because that's annoying. So I'm letting them melt. I could have paused, but why? Because we all just need to laugh. Are you guys can just come here and laugh at me. Okay. What else did I work on this week besides Harry Potter book covers? I worked on Alphabet Soup was finishing up on Tuesday with E, and that's in Semi-Sane Stitchers is doing Alphabet Soup. So every 2 weeks, they're like working their way through the alphabet. Every 2 weeks, it changes to a different letter, and you pick a pattern that starts with that, I think, or the designer first or last name can start with the letter. So E was finishing up last Tuesday. I had showed you guys Emily's house. I had been working on Emily's house. and I showed you my sad, sad story with the border. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to work on it anymore. I couldn't leave it like that. I had to unpick it and restitch it to get the border to match. And I unpicked it to where the mistake was. I restitched it and border still doesn't match. Look at this. Oh, you guys. There we are. One. So I knew that this was either, I'm off what, like one. I knew either this was one too low or this was one too high. So I found it. I found the mistake and it is back. I have to find it again now. It's here. See, these are hard to find. It's right here. This diagonal here with these leaves is one too long. So this whole side here is too low. So that means I need to, where'd it go now? Here. So I need to unpick just this and restitch it. But then it will be correct. However, I couldn't deal with it anymore last week. It's so pretty, guys. And I was so encouraged by how many people said, oh, I had trouble with Emily's house border too. I might not be meant for these big samplers with borders. I'm not sure I can pay close enough attention. I think I'm too much of a fudger. But I will fix that because the way the pattern is with all of this, like touching the border, because I really thought like, oh, I could just throw one extra stitch in there. I might still. If I throw one extra stitch in here and this is all, it'll be this side. If I throw one extra stitch in here and from like here is all one too low or too long, how much is that going to throw it off? I also don't think it'll be that big of a deal for me to unpick it and redo it. I just wish I had found that mistake the first time. Although if I'd found two mistakes at once, that might have been really discouraging. Anyway, but because of the way this all touches the border and I don't know, I just feel like this needs to be right. You guys know me, I will fudge anything, but for some reason, I feel like this border needs to be right. As I said, I might not be cut out for the big samplers with a big old border, but so there we go. So I did do some more work on Emily's house and it still didn't match. Oh well. So this is going to go away, I think, just until I need it again for a challenge or I feel ready to pick that out again. And I am stitching that on 36 count linen in Drapple by xJudesign, which I love. I definitely want more xJudesign linen. It's wonderful to stitch on, and I'm using all the called for colors because I bought the whole, like, you know, I love a kit. I bought the whole like shebangy kit from Lindy Stitches when it was released, and that was a thing. So I got the bag, the Momly bag with all of the Gentle Arts, all the specialty flosses, and the pattern and everything. It didn't come with the fabric. I picked the fabric. Okay, enough Emily's house talk. On Tuesday, it was the Washington State primary. Yay for mail-in voting in Washington. I know today is primary for a bunch of other people, but yay. In general, regardless of what is happening, I love sitting at my kitchen table with my voters pamphlet and taking my time to fill out my ballot. So yay for mail-in voting. So even though Tuesday was my primary day here in Washington, my ballot had already been sent in, but nevertheless, it felt like the right day to stitch on Suffragette. And this is the stitch along that I'm doing with Stitching with the Sisterlies and Michelle Bendy. I think she's going to stitch this at some point. But the hashtag is hashtag STWS suffrage. Pretty sure that's correct. I'll make sure that it's correct in the description box below. But follow it on Instagram, and if you're stitching this, post up with that hashtag, because the lovely ladies at Stitching with the Sisterlies are doing a giveaway every month for someone who's stitching along with us. That's hostess extraordinaire. Hostess extraordinaire. There's a story there. The gals at Stitching with the Sisterlies thought I said something different the first time I said they were hostess extraordinaire. Anyway, it's also really fun to see what everybody else is doing. Lots of people have finished. People are doing on different fabrics, different color conversions. Really fun. Did I use this? I did. I used this for a challenge for stitching on something with a woman. Even though I didn't stitch the woman. Oh, I have thread hanging. Of course I do. Of course I do. I think I also started stitching on this for some, I have this slated for quite a few of the monthly tasks in Enchanted Stitching as well. So I went back to work on it after this first task too. So this got quite a bit of work. And look, my words are done. Words done. I didn't quite get that centered on there, did I? But close enough. So words are done. And I started working on the swag across. I still need to bring this border across, but there we go. Those huge words are done. I have like 1.5 lengths of this black left, and there's stuff down here in it. We'll see. Did anybody else run out of the black? I admittedly, I'm not wasteful, I don't think, with floss, but I'm also not super frugal with it either, so. This is a 32 count linen. I am stitching 2/2, but it calls for 32. So I'm stitching this 2/2 with all the called for threads. And this is a piece of linen that I got in a mystery grab bag from Color and Cotton. So I don't know what color it is. I think it might be, what did we say? Tea? Something tea? White tea? Not sure. I don't really know. I'm just making it up anyway. So there we go. Suffrage Act. You can kind of see the outline of the bottom of her skirt. So I think this is going to get quite a bit more work done this week. Because, I don't know, for some reason I feel like I'm going to have lots of stitching time. I don't know that I actually will, but I feel like I will. And so maybe I'll knock out some of those monthly challenge things that I haven't done yet. And Suffrage Act is slated for a lot of stitching. Maybe a finish. Did I just say that? I don't know. Okay. Also on Tuesday, I worked on, we should be talking about March Madness. You guys, I've lost my mind. I'm like, why did I work on Gobble Gob? March Stitchy Madness is still happening. It's still happening. I did it last week. Okay, what was the beginning of this week? It was the 9th. So on the 9th, I worked on, which I totally skipped over in my planner. All right. I clearly need to get my act together. Hold, please, while I gather myself and get my act together. Let's do this the way I did it last week, which made way more sense. I think I was smarter last week. My brain's addling. Sitting at home. Okay, March Stitchy Madness. I'm doing the bracket that was put together by the Steel City Stitchers. Yay! And this is the bracket they put together. They had a new video out. They were all together. It was fantastic. Go watch them. And they showed all their March Stitchy Madness stuff too. So I did the bracket where I had 4 matchups. All of mine are getting a day of work, and then I'm letting everybody on Instagram vote on which of the matchups moves forward. So I was all the way down here on this very last one on the 9th. So I showed you guys chalkboard ornaments last week where I had the finish on the one ornament, and if it moved forward, I was going to start the next one. So on the 9th, for March Stitchy Madness, I worked on, it was actually a new start. It was my new start for that matchup. And I started Easter Hoopla by With Thy Needle and Thread. I love these little things. And I had talked about which fabric, right? You guys had given me lots of opinions. It was pretty split. And I ended up going with the lilac. So I went with the lilac fabric. I loved the teal as well, but I loved them both equally. And I felt like there aren't going to be as many other uses for the lilac fabric. Whereas that like seafoam color, I could totally use for other like spring, summer patterns. So this has gotten several days work on it because, spoiler alert, it won the matchup with Chalkboard Ornaments. And then it also won its next matchup as well. So this has had now 3 days of work on it. So here's where I am on Easter Hoopla. So I have the bunny pretty much all done. He needs his little fluffy front and whiskers and his floofy tail, which I'm going to do last because I am doing this in, I think, almost all the called for. Oh, and look, this is the first time I've had like the red drop jewelry. Look at that. And this is one of the ones that I made. Remember when I showed you guys the ones I had made for the Stitchy Kindness meetup or the like Celebrate Stitchy Friendness meetup? This was an extra one that I had. And it's just one that I kept. And it's just got a pretty little flower on it, but I thought it matched the colors nicely. So I think I'm using all the called for colors except for one of them. I just picked a DMC that I thought was close because there's like 6 stitches in that color. So, but otherwise, look at the pretty spring colors on this lilac fabric. It is 30, what fabric is this? This is a very good question. Do I have the tag in here? I don't know. Also called for is this little whisper floofiness. That's the tail. So I've not ever stitched with that. I'm leaving it till last. I don't know, because it seems like it should be handled the least. I don't know. So I'm going to use that last. And if you have any like tips for the whisper, I assume that I should probably use shorter strands. But I don't know. Doesn't seem like it'd be that hard. Famous last words. And then I could have sworn that I had the tag for that fabric. It's 36 count because it's 36. It must be because I'm only using 1 strand. But it's just, I think it's one of those Zweigart colors. I don't think this is overdyed. I think you could just lilac by Zweigart. But there we go. Easter Hoopla. Okay, so that was the first, second, and that's had 3 days of work. So spoiler alert, it got pretty far in the bracket. Easter Hoopla. On the 10th was Gobble Gob. So because that had won over the St. Patrick's Day Holiday Hoopla. In the first round, Gobble Gob was up against St. Patrick's Day Holiday Hoopla. Gobble Gob won, moved ahead. 1 day of work, ba-boom, gave me a finish. There was not much left to do on this guy. Like seriously, I watched one Flosstube and finished it up. So, and look, I even cut it out, that big piece of fabric. How impressed are you guys? So there we go. Gobble Gob is a finish. Yay. So that's Gobble Gob. And then, oh, this. Yes. I gave this a day of work. And then I'm looking at my bracket, trying to remember. I'm like, why did this go up against Strawberries and Mint? So I gave it a day of work. It wasn't quite finished. It went up against Strawberries and Mint in the next bracket. So I will show you guys Strawberries and Mint. So this is Strawberries and Mint. It was a new start in the first round of matchup and won to move ahead. And this is part of that Inspired Needle French Kitchen Collection kit that we were talking about. And so there's the chart, what it'll look like. And this is what another day of work That's where that put me. Oops. And this is all called for. So it's the called for fabric and floss because it all comes in the kit. It's a hand-dyed fabric by Stephanie. I can't remember the color. Oh, look. French blue. So there we go. And I use this for an enchanted stitching challenge having to do with food, turning to dust in the cursed crew's mouths. So I put a couple of little strawberries in. Oh, I mean more than that, but I made sure I stitched on some little strawberries. So there's strawberries and mint. Gobble Gob won that matchup and moved ahead. However, one more day of work on that gave me a finish. So I worked on this. I worked on strawberries and mint. This moved on. I got a finish on it with hardly any time put into it. So what I did was I brought St. Patrick's Day Holiday Hoopla up from the minors to advance towards the final, because this is what should have gone to the final, but that one day of work finished it. So yay, finish on Gobble Gob. I love it. I'll turn it into a little, I don't know what, I'm going to turn it probably into a little pillow. Maybe, I don't know, would it do a little stand up? I don't know. I'll FFO this sometime this fall, but I love those turkeys. And I did this is a 32 count even weave of Mystery Origin. I got off Stash Unload, and it's a mix of mostly the called fors or the listed DMC conversion. So, Gobble Gob, finished. Yay. Next up, so the 10th was a Gobble Gob, 11th was strawberries and mint. The 12th was April Yearbook. Oh, that's March. Here's April. And I had somebody ask like how long ago I got these. I bought this entire set the first time that I ever visited Acorns and Threads last May. I think it was right when Lizzie Kate was moving to only being sold on 123 Stitch. And so like the shops weren't going to be able to get the Lizzie Kate patterns anymore. And so Janine was like doing a sale. Like she was essentially like clearancing out all the Lizzie Kates. And so I picked up all of these last May. However, I checked, they're all still available on 123 Stitch. Someone also asked me what I'm stitching these on. I'm stitching the entire series on 28 count linen in flax, but they would look great on Aida or Monaco, whatever you wanted to do it on, honestly. So this has gotten quite a bit of work because I've used this for, I used it for a task last week. Yes? No? I don't know. I stitched on it that one day. I've used it for a task already this week. I stitched on this yesterday. And I feel like I used it for something else. I can't remember, but this is how far I am. So I've gotten quite a bit more done because when you saw it last week, there was the bunny in the basket, I think. And so I did the grass and this vine and this basket, it needs one more egg. Started the hat. I put in part of one butterfly. It's like really faint yellow. But there it is. April Yearbook. So that was on the 12th and went up against Easter Hoopla in that bracket, and Easter Hoopla won and moved forward. So bye-bye April Yearbook, although it'll get done this month. That was fine that it didn't move ahead because you guys know I will finish that. It will be no problem. But if you're interested in those charts, you can totally get them on 123 Stitch. And they come with little charms. They're adorable. I think each one, because I just happened to look it up to make sure they were still available, is like $8. And you get 2 months and the charms in the, I don't know what the little thing with the Easter charm is. The April charm. I'll have to find that. Uh-oh. I might have lost the April charm when I did the March one. Okay. No worries. We'll find it. So, and this is all housed, this project is housed in one of my Bags Plus Bendy Flips. I bought this in one of, Michelle Bendy did a live sale in November, and it's got pretty owl, tulip pink owl. But you can order these through Karina's Etsy, and I'll link that below. I love these. They're perfect for these smaller projects. I mean, like I shoved my fabric and everything in there, but you can see these littler patterns from like Bent Creek and Lizzie Kate fit perfect in there. And I needed to stick like an extra bobbin in the back, but perfect for these smaller projects that don't have that much floss. But it'll hold 12, that's quite a bit. So April yearbook. Then the final matchup was St. Patrick's Day Hoopla versus Easter Hoopla. So the final two was the battle of the Hooplas. And you all voted yesterday, and the winner is Easter Hoopla. Yay! So Easter Hoopla will get finished and FFO'd. I'm gonna try for an FFO this month. So I loved Stitch Madness. Like, I think that was such a fun way to do Stitch Madness. I know lots of people are doing all kinds of things. They're spinning WIP wheels. They're doing a different WIP every day. They're doing a new start every day for 20 days or whatever. I thought the bracket thing was super fun because I got to start a few things, touch a bunch of different things. It was really, thank you to everybody that like voted on my Instagram for what moved ahead. It was really a lot of fun. So that's done. Easter Hoopla is the winner. And honestly, like, I have him about done, and I'm partially done. Like, this is not going to take me that much longer. I mean, I may just sit down and finish that up this week. So let's see. So what else did I work on outside of the bracket stuff? Outside of the bracket stuff, I worked on Suffrage Act. Friday was Friday the 13th because we needed something more crazy going on last week. But it was Friday the 13th, and for dark 13 stitching, I worked on tingles. I'm doing mine all together like this, and I started on this next block here. So I'm working on Trick or Treat, Smell My Feet. This one, I'll show you. So I'm working on this, Trick or Treat, Smell My Feet. However, when you do them all together, there's extra elements. You can see there's extra little elements in here in some places to like fit them all together, and that's free. You can get this border pattern with those extra elements free on the Lizzie Kate. I don't know if it's her website or blog, but I'll link it below. So I started that, but I started with like the little free element. So I haven't actually even started the block yet. So for dark 13 stitching, I did work on tingles a little bit and got this little vine flower done. So I'll definitely work on this more. I'll get it to fit. Did I get it to fit a challenge this week? I might. I'm gonna see. There's a challenge, there's a task for stitch on something you would load into the cannons when you run out of cannonballs. I mean, I don't know. I might fill it with like candy. That'd be like a piñata, right? Like if you like blow out a bunch of candy, like that would distract the enemy, right? They'd be picking up all the candy like a piñata. So I don't know. So this might get some more work. My goal is definitely to finish that whole block this month because I'm trying to do one block a month, and that would finish this up by October. So there's the whole piece. This is being stitched on 14 count Aida in the color Prank by Picture This Plus. And that's about right. It always shows up super bright. It's not really that dark, but it's a great color. And I'm stitching this with the listed DMC conversion, except for guacamole and sweet potato, which I'm still using, because there were just some places that I thought the variegation would look good. But everything else I'm doing DMC. So that's tingles. I worked on that on Friday for dark 13 stitching. And then my last task last week was for stitch on something that you could use to lure a dog with the keys, like in the jail when they're trying to get the dog with the keys to come to them. Because this month in Enchanted Stitching, we're doing Pirates of the Caribbean. One of the movies. I still haven't watched it. Maybe this weekend. Maybe we'll watch that this weekend. I'm also using this because on Wednesday, then starting on Wednesday in Semi-Sane Stitcher's Alphabet Soup switched to F. We went from E to F. And so I am working on my Friends collage because the name of this pattern is literally called Friends. It is by, let me find the information. This is on Etsy. It is by, it's called Friends. The designer is Anastasia Imanova, and this is the, that's her Instagram, but I think that this is the name of her Etsy shop as well. Anim Cross Stitch. But there's her Instagram. They'll probably take you to her Etsy store. I don't know if it's still up there, probably. But I figured I could lure a dog with a turkey leg. That's very Disney, a turkey leg. Get myself a big old turkey leg at Disneyland and lure a dog with a turkey leg. So, and then I'm going to be working on this for Alphabet Soup for F. Haven't seen this project for a while, have we, guys? It's so fun when I take it out and work on it. I'm just in no hurry to have it finished because it's really just for me, and it'll probably hang on the wall here somewhere. So I don't work on it a whole bunch. But here we go. That's where I got to. I finished up this football and did the back stitching, and then I had all of the cups and this done, but only like 1 or 2 lines of the green. So I finished out the perk part of the sign, finished this football, did the back stitching on the football. And I'm not the biggest fan of back stitching, but this kind of back stitching is fun because you kind of just do each little element and it just makes it look so good. So I need to do all the back stitching on the central perk sign. And then I'll move on to the next little element. So, and this will get worked on this week as well because we need to do something with how we would get off the island. I would take a canoe. I'd take a canoe. Make myself a canoe and take a canoe. So, so there's Friends. Look, April, I got Friends out. One of my viewers was stitching this along with me. We were doing a stitch along, hashtag the one with the Sal. I'm still stitching it, so if you love this pattern, go get it. That's the hashtag, the one with the Sal. I think there were 3 of us stitching it. I'll link it below. April's looks amazing. Go check her out. I can't remember her Instagram. I think it's April Heirlooms. Hers looks fantastic. She's got it framed and everything, and she did some customizations to the pattern, and it looks great. But Friends. There we go. My all-time favorite shows. And I think there's going to be like a little dead time, isn't there? Didn't HBO get the rights to it? And there's going to be like a month or 2 that it's not going to be on Netflix before it's on HBO. First world problems. Okay. That's it. That's everything I worked on last week, guys. I'll show you this just because, even though it's stitching from today. Oh! Those were WIPs. Let's do finishes and FFOs. So on Sunday, I decided it was time to fully finish my Spring ABCs by Lizzie Kate and switch them out in my powder room. So I do those, the seasonal Lizzie Kate ABCs, and they go on this in my powder room. So I did the fully finish on this. Here. There we go. I showed you, I finished the stitching on this maybe a month or so ago. I don't remember when, but I just did some mat board. I had this fabric lying around. It's not that bright. Wow. This ring light, everything shows up so bright. I mean, it's bright, but it's not that bright. And then I just put the stitching with 1 layer of batting on a piece of mat board and used this little felt. This is felt rickrack. It's die cut felt rickrack that I got off Amazon. I'll put the link below for it as well. And It's running away on one side. Uh-oh, it slid behind the stitching. That apparently was not tacked down that well. I'll fix it. I'll fix it later. But there we go. And these just clip on here. Now look, I've jacked it all up, guys. This is what I get. It was safely up on a shelf in my powder room, and now I've made a mess. All right, I'll fix the riprap later, but there we go. And then they just clip onto this little frame. I got the frame at Michael's with a coupon. I think they still have them. They're not really cheap. They're maybe like $25, but if you have a good coupon or half off an item, and then I think it was like a maroon color, and I just chalkboard painted it white because that looked better in my powder room. So that was my FFO. And then even though it really happened today, which I should show you next week, but I'm super excited about it, it's St. Patrick's Day, I got a finish on the St. Patrick's Day holiday hoopla. I know it didn't win. It didn't win yesterday, but it was so close, and it's St. Patrick's Day that I just finished it. And I thought, I know, you're like, Erin, that's not fully finished. It's so not, look. But I had this hoop that I had gotten at one of our Stitchy meetups, one of our library Stitchy meetups. One of the gals who came brought some like hoops and fabric and stuff to give away. And she had this one that, you know, I don't know that you would use it for stitching, but I thought, oh, that'd be good for finishing something. And when I started these hooplas, I thought, oh, maybe it'll fit in that hoop because it's tiny. That hoop is tiny. Yeah, look, it's still like too big. These things are itty bitty. These little hooplas, they're itty bitty. But look, I finished all that 1/1 stitching. Aren't you so proud of me? And I used mostly called for threads. This color is Lucky by Weeks Dye Work. Oh, it is so good. And you guys know Weeks Dye Works is not my favorite to stitch with, but that might be one of my favorite colors ever, is this Lucky. But yeah, he's all done. So I need to get a smaller hoop, and apparently a couple of them, because this must be like a 4-inch hoop maybe, and I think I need maybe a 3-inch hoop. These things are itty bitty, but I threw it in there just to show you my finish on St. Patrick's Day hoopla that I finished on St. Patrick's Day, which I know really isn't on time to display, but look how cute he is. Okay, and now I'll work on Easter hoopla and hopefully get it done in time. All right, so that's it, guys. That's all my whips, finishes, fully finishes. I do have a little bit of haul. I feel like I've been extra rambly today. What is that about? I don't know. Hopefully you guys are all just stuck at home and want long Flosstube videos to watch. Not, I'm so sorry. I do have a little bit of stuff that came in the mail this week. First thing that came that I want to show you is a couple needle minders that I got from Space Cat Crafting. She has a Flosstube channel. Oh, that's her card, which I cut. I cut the top off and I cut the card. Oh, and that's sad, but look how pretty it is. She lives in Virginia. And that just seems so. I lived in Springfield, Virginia for a year. Fun fact, for 1 year, my dad worked at the Pentagon. He was on like an exchange program where someone like in industry went and worked a Pentagon job. So he worked at the Department of Energy, and the Department of Energy guy went and worked his job in the private sector. It's like a, you know, foreign exchange program, but for government workers. So we lived in Springfield, Virginia for a year while my dad worked at the Department of Energy. But this reminded me of Springfield. Isn't that pretty? And I'm so sad I cut it. Michelle, but anyway, just to say that she included a lovely card with my order. And Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy, she says that she makes her cards into thread drops. Genius, because I love that. I love that, and it's such a sweet card from Caitlin. And there's even like, look, there's even a pretty, I was looking at the pretty picture on the inside too. I don't want to just get rid of it. What a fantastic way to recycle cards. Anyway, I'll show you what I got. I ordered 3 and then she sent me a little extra. Look how cute these are. I saw these, I think she showed these 2 on one of her channels. I cross stitch so I don't kill people. That might be especially true while we're hanging out with the family so much. Oh, seriously. This one, Every Day I'm Muggling. That's hysterical. I had to have that. And then when I was looking at our site, I'm going to have to put this on Easter Hoopla now that I've shown you guys, but they're peeps. Look at the cute peeps. And then she sent me this adorable little penguin as well. But anyway, check her out. I will link her Etsy shop below. I love these acrylic minders because they're really light. And since I stitch in hand, they don't weigh down my fabric. I just put them down off to one of the sides and they don't weigh down my fabric. And these are nice magnets. And she's got some cute stuff. So go check her out. She shipped super fast. And I love them. I love them. They're going to go up on my needle minder holder. I also got in the mail my bag of the month from So Much to Love. Oh, let me tell you guys. It was a day that a lot of the bad news was coming down and I kind of really needed it. So with the So Much to Love bag of the month club, you get a bag and then she fills it with little goodies that kind of go with the theme of the bag. So this month we got, she also includes a lovely letter from Karen explaining what everything is, which I should probably keep out so I can tell you where everything came from. This month we got an adorable chart from the Floss box called Under the Rainbow. Look at that. I love it. Little girl with her basket. It's like March St. Patrick's Day without being St. Patrick's Day-ish at all. Like there's really nothing that's St. Patrick's in there other than maybe the rainbow, but that's so cute. It's just perfect, even springy. So we got that. She also sent a little shamrock needle minder from josephworkshop.com and I'll link it below. It's really nice. It's like a die cut painted wood and it's got a nice strong magnet on it as well. Love that. I'm just gonna put that right up there. And then she also sent some leprechaun candies. They're in here somewhere. I haven't eaten them yet. Look, they have little leprechauns on them. And she always includes a different bag of stash tea. And this one is Super Irish Breakfast, which actually is my favorite breakfast tea. I have this all the time. Almost every day I have a Super Irish Breakfast tea. I love it. So, you guys want to see the bag? I'm kind of giving you hints. It is so perfect for me. Look at that. Instead of her rickrack, she usually does rickrack. Look at this beautiful lace on there. And the little heart, felt heart is green this month with the shamrocks. And I love the blue. I love the blue flowers in there. And then the inside is also little shamrocks. And look, I already have a project in it. Yeah, you know what went in it. Ba-bam! Do clover. Because next week, guys, is my birthday. Next week's my birthday, and I am hosting a birthday sal. So I'm going to be starting Duke Clover. So if you want to stitch along for my birthday, you don't have to start something new. It can, I mean, if you want an excuse, I'm here for you. Start something new. But it could be a WIP you have. So if you just want to stitch on anything that is either an Owl Forest chart, and they have some freebies. We've talked about it in the past. There are some freebies on the Owl Forest embroidery website, which I'll link below. But if you have one of their kits or a WIP from Owl Forest, you can work on that. Or anything that is green, St. Patrick's Day, Irish, lucky. The hashtag is going to be hashtag lucky birthday Sal. So I'm going to be starting to do clover on my birthday. And so of course I put it in here and I got, I bought the whole kit from 1884 Stitchery and they do have, I don't know that they have this kit, but she does carry the Owl Forest embroidery kits and they come with the most gorgeous flosses and they come with like bobbins on them in it that have the little symbol on them. So I got all the flosses wound on the bobbins. Look how pretty. There were 2 of these, and I don't know if that's an accident. It's the same color, same symbol. I don't know, or maybe I just need that much. It's entirely possible, but I wound them both on the bobbins. So there's the floss, and then the kit came with fabric, and I put this up in my stories. I already put the kit fabric away because I'm not going to use it. Oh, it also came with a needle minder and a needle. Although maybe I'll use my little wood one instead. We'll see. The kit fabric, it was big enough. I had heard, I think Coffee Stitcher maybe had said that he found their kit fabric to be too small or smaller than his liking. And I measured it out and I kind of agreed because it was a little bit shy of 2 inches on one side. It was like maybe 1 3/4 inches on each side. And I just thought it was just an ivory Zweigart linen, a 32 count. A 32 count ivory Zweigart linen. It's lovely linen, but it's like I can use that linen for anything. So I could put that back in my stash, and I figured I could find a neutral linen that would go with it. I'm down to 2 options, guys. I think I'm leaning one direction, but you tell me. So these are the 2 that I am between now for my stash. So it came with a 32 count. This is a 32 count platinum, which is like one of my all-time favorite neutrals, which is why I always have a big whack of it in my stash. So there we go. So there's the flosses on the platinum. This is a great Zweigart linen. We all know what that's like. Platinum. I also have that I think I must have gotten off of Stash Unload or in a like, I don't know where this came from. It had like a random, like not a shop tag on it. It had like a handwritten, somebody handwrote a tag on it. And this is 36 count Chantilly. And that's what it just said. It just said 36 count Chantilly. That's all it said on the little like sticky label that was on it. I don't know where. I got it last year sometime. I looked, it could be a lakeside linen, and it does have that soft feel of a lakeside. I don't know if you guys can see, it is fairly slubby, which I don't mind. It's more, it has a little bit of a blush undertone that I love. However, you can also see it's a little thinner. And I would totally, like this would be the one I would pick if it weren't for the fact that it was a little thinner. Because there's specialty stitches in this kit. I'll show you the, let's see, but look how pretty those flosses are, especially the pinks. Oop. Come on, flip around. On that linen. But it is a little thinner. It's not as sturdy of a linen as the Zweigart, and there are some specialty stitches in this pattern that I have not done before. And so I'm worried that they're gonna pull a little weird. There's some satin stitches and some lazy daisies. So there's the Chantilly. Here's the platinum. Tell me your thoughts. I will tell you, I put this up in my stories and I got about half and half. Y'all are helpful, but not helpful because it was literally almost half and half. People said platinum and some people said Chantilly. Okay, that's gonna be the birthday start next week. And it's in my bag of the month from So Much to Love, which I got last week. I'll put it all back now. It came in the box and I cut the box up so that I could keep the cover. So there it is. So you can see, here's the, I'm holding it upside down. Excellent. I'm trying to see where the lazy daisies are. This is such a small thing. I think they're here. But you can't really tell from that picture, but there's quite a bit of satin stitching and lazy daisies. I'm so excited to do this. Don't you love that? Look at the greens and the teals and the pops of pink. This is me. Me. If Erin was a pattern, she would be Duke Clover by Apple Forest. It's like a weird, like, what animal would you be? What pattern would you be? All right, last thing I got, guys, was my market pre-order, which was not much. I pre-ordered 2 things from Abby Top Knot Stitcher. I think she might have shipped this from Nashville or the day she got back. I got it so fast. She sent me a lovely note So they're top-notch stitcher shop. I will, of course, link her below. She also sent me a look at that adorable egg needle minder. Because her Etsy shop started as just needle minders and other little accoutrements that she liked. Now she's turned into like a full-on online shop and has her own website. Check her out. Fantastic service, and I just adore her. But look at that cute little egg needle minder. Maybe I'll put that one on Easter Hoopla. I need to do more Easter patterns. Oh, that's the other thing with Chantilly. I really love it. I'm also having a strong urge to start Hare's Hunt. And I think it might be the perfect fabric for Hare's Hunt. Can you tell I'm torn? Because I love platinum. It's like my favorite neutral. That and flax. Either one of those. I will happily stitch anything on either of those. Okay, market pre-orders. This is it. This is all I pre-ordered. I have since placed another order with Abby Top Knot because I couldn't resist. And so as everybody was showing all of their market purchases, I succumbed and ordered a couple more market things. But so far, this is all I've gotten in. Strutting Tom kit from Lindy Stitches. Look at him. He's amazing. And this is like the full kit. Oh, it doesn't show. It's the full kit to finish it just like that. Do you guys want to see what's in the kit? If you don't, you can just peace out. That's okay. But there's pins in there, guys. Ow! Stitching injury. Okay, look at these amazing little pins. Look how pretty those are. Does it say who made them? It says Artistic Finishing and Kit Production by Lady Dot Create. So I'm assuming those are from Lady Dot. Look at those pins. Okay. Very cool. We also got in here full finishing instructions. It looks like. Yes, a full page of finishing instructions on how to finish it like that, and the chart. We got Weeks Dye Works flosses. So it calls for Weeks Dye Works and DMC, I believe. Yes, so there's some Weeks, so it calls for some Weeks Dye Works and some DMC. We got the Weeks Dye Works flosses. It looks like there's three Weeks Dye Works. Oh, that's enough. I'm sure it is. That looks like plenty. It's not that big of a chart. So we got the Weeks Dye Works floss. We got the little finishing. Where's the picture? Show the picture, Erin. Show the picture. It's here. It's over here. We got the little pom-pom trim that goes along the front. We got this little fabric strip that goes along the front. We got this chenille trim that goes around the backing fabric. Oh, there's another strip for in front. So it looks like it goes like this. Strip, strip, trim. See, I'm never this creative. I'm like, make a square pillow, put some trim on it. This is why I love kits, because I wouldn't think to do this fanciness. Trim, and then chenille trim around the outside. And we also got the, oh look, they even sent interfacing. There's even interfacing. This is a full kit, guys, when they send you interfacing. And then the little piece of, what is this? 32 count taupe Lugana. So 32 count taupe Lugana, and then all the little finishing pieces. And the floss, even interfacing, what the heck, and pins. Don't stick yourself with the pins, they're sharp. PSA, don't stick yourself with the pins, they're sharp. I am so excited about this. This I think is a Mania start for sure. Speaking of Mania starts, okay, wait, I'll show you my one other piece of market pre-order, and then we'll talk Mania. Because I have thoughts and questions. Okay, the only other chart that I pre-ordered was Michelle Bendy's You're Okay. You're okay, I guess. I love Michelle and I wanted to support her at her first market. And this was probably actually I lied. I could not pick a favorite. This was my favorite of ones that I thought I might potentially stitch up quickly. That I might start doing stitch up quickly. She has a collaboration with Blue Flower, the Friendship Sampler, I think it's called. Amazing. She collaborated with Carla Rolodex on the Rolodex Morning Sampler. Amazing. They're both bigger. And I've been wanting to do a fractor. Like, I've been drawn to the fractors. I don't own one. I went to stitch one. I love this. I love that it's slightly snarky. Yeah. And it's charting Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works. 18 count River Rock Aida. I think I might even have River Rock or something close. I don't know. Love that. Okay. So those are my 2 market pre-orders from Abby Topknot. Mania. While I was working on kitting up, not really kitting up, but getting the kit together for my birthday start next week, I was also kind of taking the day because my craft room has now turned into a home office for my husband. So I was kind of in here puttering around on Sunday, doing that FFO, getting my birthday start pulled together, puttering around. And I started thinking about Mania, and I was starting to feel an urge to like kind of pull stuff out and figure out what things I want to start for sure, and then what things were possible Mania starts. Because I think that this is how it's going to go down. Okay, here's my plan. My plan is to start 21 new projects in May for Mania. I know it's 2020 and everybody's going to be doing 20, but there are 21 weekdays in May. So 20 plus 1 to grow on. 20 plus 1 to grow on because my WIP count will definitely grow. So that's my plan, is to have a new start every weekday in May. And then on the weekends, I will work on a project I started last May because I have 3. I have 3 that have May birthdays. So they'll each get a weekend worth of work and I'll have 21 new starts. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'll have ones that I for sure want to start, and I'll put those on a wheel and I'll make sure that I start all those, and then I'll have another decision wheel that will be possible starts. But I need to kind of go through my stuff and figure out which ones are for sure starts, which ones are possible starts, and kind of what I still need to kit up. Here's where you guys come in. Would you be interested in me like kind of filming that kind of vlog style? Like, it wouldn't be me sitting here. I'd just like maybe hold my camera or mount my camera and be shuffling stuff around and sorting through stash. If that's interesting to you and you're like, yes, please record you rambling, shifting through your stash, I will do that this weekend. So that's it. I'm gonna end here because this has been heck long. I'm like at an hour 15. How did I talk for an hour and 15 minutes? And I don't feel like I have that much stuff to show. This is me every week, isn't it, guys? I don't have that much stuff. An hour later. Oh, we need to do giveaway though. I can't end it there. Giveaway. Okay. Last week I was giving away this little chart, Stitcher's Best Friend, because I have like several friends that just got new puppies. So I found this in my pile of stuff for giveaways and thought it was adorable. It's both charts. And I used the random comment picker. And random comment picker chose Noelle Wilcox. Yay, Noelle! You won me adorable little puppy dog charts. And Noelle said, I was asking about club kits. Oh, she was the one who told me about Crazy Annie's that I forgot to mention. She said she's a part of lots of clubs. The one where I get kits from is Inspired Needle. We love Inspired Needle. And also Crazy Annie's. So Crazy Annie's is a Facebook group. Annie, not Crazy Annie, my friend Annie, who's Joy-Filled Stitcher here on YouTube and Instagram. You should watch her if you're not. She is part of one of the Crazy Annie clubs where she gets like finishing stuff to like FFO, like every other month maybe. I don't know. When she showed that, I of course ran my little self over to Crazy Annie's and joined and signed up on the wait list. So I will say a lot of Crazy Annie's clubs are full. She has tons. Like she has that finishing kit club. She's got fabric clubs and floss clubs and all kinds of clubs. So thank you, Noelle, for mentioning that. And I don't know why I did not write that down on my sheet. Crazy Annie. And I will link her Facebook group below. So, yeah. Noelle, you won. Thank you for the lovely comment. She had a nice, long, lovely comment. Thank you so much. And giveaway for this week. So as I was puttering around on Sunday, I found that I have one more of these little floss drops that I made. And this is like the one that's on my Easter. It's a pretty little flower in teal. And so I thought this would be a fun little thing to give away this week, since I actually showed you my very first time that I've had jewelry. That's like a rule, right? Isn't that like a Brenda and the Serial Starter rule that I break all the time, is that you need to have pretty jewelry on your floss rings. So that's what I'm going to give away this week. And as I said, I'm feeling the urge to start Hare's Hunt, and I think it's just because it's sunny. It's finally sunny. Thank heavens it's sunny and we can take walks and the kids are riding their bikes. But it's sunny this week in Seattle and I'm feeling very spring stitching. And I'm feeling the urge to start Hare's Hunt, which I very well may. Who knows what could happen? I just might. I don't know. I don't even know if I have the stuff for it. It's not even kitted. But if you would like to be in the running for the floss drop, just tell me what your favorite spring Eastern pattern is. Because I don't have that very many spring Easter-y patterns. I have a couple, but not that many. It's definitely an area of my pattern stash that needs to be beefed up. So if you want a chance to get the floss drop, let me know what your favorite, or maybe what you're stitching on now. If you're stitching a spring one, just give me a suggestion. I will be looking for the word spring. So you can say my favorite spring pattern is, you can even tell me if you like spring, if spring's come to you yet. I know some people are still buried under snow. Sorry. March is definitely coming in like a lion and going out like a lamb for us here so far. Hopefully it holds. But all right. Now I really am done, guys. I promise, I swear. And maybe I'll be more pulled together next Monday. We'll see. But in the meantime, I hope you guys stay safe and healthy and get lots of stitching in. And until I see you next time, cheers.